Today we have a different kind of Gundam history. I'm not going to discuss the events from the Universal Century this time. Instead, I'm explaining why things turned out the way they did. Today, we are going to look at a battle that was very one-sided, and we will be using logic to explain why the battle ended the way it did. We are looking at the failure of the Cold Districts type GM at the Arctic Base Assault from Gundam 0080 War in the Pocket. Class is in session. The Battle of the Arctic Base occurred on December 9th, UC 0079, when the Cyclops team assaulted the base where the Federation was developing a new Gundam model. The Cyclops team, made up of 4 members, struck fast and hit hard while piloting aquatic mobile suits, destroying the RGM-79D units that were guarding the base. While the destruction of the base was a success, the Gundam unit was evacuated from the base and the Cyclops team lost a pilot. The battle was a victory, but the mission was a failure. What tends to be in dispute is the GM Cold Districts type failing so hard against slightly modified aquatic MS. However, there are 5 key reasons why the Cold Districts type failed. Number 1, armor quantity. The best offense is a strong defense. In this case, all 3 different units in the battle feature the exact same armor material, titanium alloy ceramic composite. Thus, it is not an issue of armor quality, but an issue of armor quantity. While there is no stat for armor thickness, we can assume that the weight of the unit divided by the height will give us a general estimate of armor weight per meter of the unit. The GM Cold Districts has about 2.48 tons per meter, while the Zagok-E and Hygog have 3.78 and 3.54 tons per meter respectively, making both the Zeon units more weighty than the GMs. While the empty weight of a unit also includes the internal mechanisms, technical components, and cockpit defenses, it also has to account for the armor as well. While the aquatic MS have more weight for mechanisms that are required for underwater movement, we could remove 1 ton per meter from each unit and they would still outweigh the GMs. Therefore, the Zeon units have superior armor thickness to that of the Federation units, giving them a slight advantage in battle. Number 2, weaponry power differences. The weapon loadout for the 3 units is also very different. The GM has a beam saber, Vulcans, and 90mm machine gun. While the Bullpup Machine Gun is designed with high armor penetration in mind, that can't be guaranteed with a different gun model. That being said, it seemed to tear up the Hygog pretty well when they had a clear shot on him. However, they do have issues hitting the other units, and that might be due to the design chosen for the Type 2 90mm machine gun. The weapon is based off of the Sten gun, a weapon used by the British military starting in the 1940s, and it had continued use through the 1980s. Despite the longevity of the weapon, it has seen several upgrades and improvements to the earlier flawed models. The design of the gun was unique, but the magazine could pop out if not handled properly, which made the weapon less reliable than other rifles. When using the magazine as a foregrip, the problem could also be exacerbated. The gun was also prone to jamming, especially in harsh weather conditions. Most famously, this happened during an assassination attempt on an SS officer. The gun might look cool, but it definitely has a lot of flaws, which are probably shared between the historical weapon and the variant designed during the Universal Century. Meanwhile, the Cyclops team have beam cannons and missiles, weapons that have proven very destructive and reliable throughout the Universal Century. Both weapons are good at destroying armor, and the extendable vice grips give them a medium-range weapon that most units won't expect. You add in the GM's weaker armor, and it is no surprise that the Cyclops team wrecked the majority of the base guards. Number 3. Tactical advantages. The best weapons and armor don't mean much unless you know how to use them properly. The Cyclops team attacked the base with a two-pronged maneuver and hit the Feddies while they were unprepared. They began with a missile salvo that tore up the buildings and caused chaos at the base. This was followed by making landfall and pushing forward into the base, taking out the few guards who had been posted at the base. Using not only their beam weaponry, but also their extendable grip claws, they tore through the Federation forces to reach their objective. The evacuation of the new Gundam model was quick, and Andy risked moving out of cover in order to take it down. He was gunned down, and the evacuation was successful. If the Cyclops team had been a little faster, they could have prevented the launch. Even though they failed their primary objective, they were able to leave the base in ruins and destroy the Federation mobile suit forces. They used the terrain, their weapons, and the chaos of a surprise attack to cause major damage with fewer soldiers and with only one casualty. Number 4. Base design. The base was not designed as a defensive stronghold. This is likely due to the Federation assuming that no one would waste their time attacking such a remote facility. However, that is not an excuse to have such lax defenses. The base had a subterranean entry via the ocean and a standard entry via the surface. There were very few, if any, guards patrolling the entry areas, and there were no defenses in case of a missile barrage. The Zeon forces would have been just as, if not more, successful if they had done an aerial assault, as it doesn't seem like this base has any anti-air defenses either. Outside of a squad of GMs who were quick to act during the battle, there were basically no defenses for this base, giving a Special Forces team a very easy target. Number 5. Experience. Experience is the greatest teacher, and a Zeon Special Forces squad must have been around since the beginning of the war. They obviously knew how to use their mobile suits, and they knew proper battle tactics. They were selected for this mission and ready to wipe out a base full of Federation soldiers in order to stop the production of a new prototype. The Gym Squad, on the other hand, really felt like a bunch of amateurs. Between their bad aim and cluster tactics, they really came off like they were a bunch of green pilots. However, this makes sense, because gyms were only developed not too long before this battle. But you're also looking at a base that is in the middle of nowhere. It is very likely the Federation did not want to send elite troops out to a base that was probably not going to get attacked. While this is speculation, I am one to believe that if elite forces had been protecting this base, the Cyclops team would have left with far fewer members. Probably none. But since we did not have particularly good troops, the experience of the Cyclops team gave them a huge advantage in this battle. There you have it. Through tactical advantages and experience, the Cyclops team was easily capable of taking out a gym squad and almost securing the new mobile suit. This is just another example of how a well-trained elite force can take on a numerically superior untrained force and easily win. So, do you agree or disagree with my analysis of this battle? Let me know in the comments. While you're at it, please like and subscribe, as it lets me know that people are enjoying these videos. Next time, we're going to look at something a little different. The early mobile suits of the Anno Domini era. That's right. Next time, it's Gundam Battle History. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm the Dapper Bard. Class dismissed.